Another day, another dinner, and this time another dish that, well, a lot of people might think they don't like, and I'm going to show you that it's all a question of having it prepared properly. The part you will like is a steak with a mustard sauce. That's the main event, but along with it, our side dish is Brussels sprouts. People think they don't like them. Again, we're going to see it's a question of have you had it prepared properly? And we're going to do that. This is a little favorite dinner for my wife and I, kind of stay-at-home date night kind of thing. This has been one of our dinners that we've often done, Friday night, just the two of us. And let's go ahead and get started. Aprons on, get set, let's do some cooking. Well, let's get started. Now, Brussels sprouts are actually a form of cabbage. Lots of things are forms of cabbage. Broccoli and cauliflower are also forms of cabbage. All we want to do with these, they can be quite bitter if you don't cook them enough. What I'm going to do is split them just like that. Split each one of them like that. The end pieces like that, that gets tossed. The little stem end piece. But the rest of it, we just split it in half. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the time to lay them all face down. I've got, you might recognize this. This is exactly what I did for the other thing, and in the other video with the green beans. And the whole point here is it's just not complicated. Again, people get this impression, the whole reputation, French cooking is all fancy. That's the image of the restaurant industry. Home cooking is just good stuff, to the point where even I'm not sure I'd call a lot of this French cooking necessarily. It's just cooking. So Brussels sprouts, choux Bruxelles, that's what they are, Brussels cabbage, choux cabbage. And what I'm going to do as I go, I'm going to lay them out on that pan just like you saw me start there. I'm going to lay them all face down. If I do that, they'll get a nice consistent cooking out of them, and they will have they'll be crispy in a nice even way. I'll set that aside out of view. These stray leaves that you have, just throw them out on top. All right, just about finished up. And there we are. Now again, you're going to notice some consistency here on this one. Why mess with success? Just worked out great for the green beans, and we can just repeat it. Here I am with the olive oil. Being fairly generous. I mean, the fact of the matter is, it looks like a lot, but it's spread between a whole lot of vegetables. And so in the end, it's just not quite as much as you think it is. Go for some salt. When you're doing something like this, it's worth it to have good salt. If you're cooking it into a soup, maybe not so much, but something where you're really going to just eat it straight up like this, it's worth it to get a good kosher salt, good sea salt. There it is. Some pepper. There it is. Our Brussels sprouts are ready. Let's get them in the oven. While your stuff is in the oven in this stage, jump in and get your cleanup done now. Means you don't have to do it when the meal is over. It's a lot nicer. You can literally have most of this just kind of cleaned up. By the time you get ready to sit down for dinner, all the cleanup has already happened. Let's do a little salad. I've decided this dinner needs some salad. I'm going to do a simple little salad. It's just a cucumber and tomato salad. I have a cucumber here that I've already peeled up. Peeled that off camera. Chop the ends off it. Split it open down the middle. I'm going to just kind of lift those seeds out of there. I leave those in there. it'll kind of make it a little watery. I'd like to get those out of there. As you saw, I can just kind of do a little surgery. Pop those suckers right out of there. There they go. So now just kind of chop these up into quarters. Tomatoes. Get a good sharp knife. Tomatoes can be a little hard to cut. Kind of just cut them down in little wedges like that. Let's see. Just off frame, the dog here is hoping she gets something. Dog actually likes tomatoes. They are sweet. It's kind of like a candy. I don't know, try it at home, see if your dog likes tomatoes. There. Got a bowl of cucumbers and tomatoes. What I'm going to do is put on that. These are herbes de Provence. Provence is a region of southern France. It's a mixture of thyme and oregano mostly, rosemary. Can't remember. There's something else in there too. Can't remember what it is right now. You could use oregano. Just use straight oregano. I'm going to put that in there. Kind of distribute a fairly good amount of it. A little bit of salt and pepper. Olive oil, always with the olive oil. Some vinegar, just a white wine vinegar. Put that over it. Toss that a bit. There you go. Simple little salad. Set that aside while we finish off our steaks. A quick look at our Brussels sprouts in the oven, coming along very nicely. Brown and crispy on the edges. Yes, these are looking very, very good. We're going to start on these steaks. I'm going to get the oven to or the stove to a fairly high heat here. And what I've got is I don't know, I like to use thin cut steaks for these recipes. I guess I don't have any particular reason for that. They don't have to be thin cut. That's what I usually do this particular recipe with. So there they are. Got those ready. Got that heating up a minute. And what we're going to do is I'm going to cook these steaks, and then right there in the pan I'm going to make a sauce. It's going to be a cream sauce. There's our big thing here on this one. We're going to add some Worcestershire sauce to it. Don't worry, nobody knows how to pronounce it. And then Dijon mustard. This is the classic French mustard. Dijon. It's quite strong tasting, and a lot of people kind of have a little bit of a hard time with it. You've got to, but when you cook it into something like this, it gets really mild, and it's got a really good, rich flavor. And this is the thing that's really going to make this sauce good. In fact, actually, sauce is almost kind of the definition of French cooking. Everything has a sauce. That's what it is. You know, again, you might notice the simplicity of this compared to what I did with the other recipe. It's not complicated. Got some butter here, and I'm going to cook this steak in some butter. Pan's heating up nicely. I'm actually going to add a little bit of olive oil to it as well. A little bit of a mixture of both. Pan's heating up. And give that just a minute to heat up more. Basically, the moment that butter melts up, let's get these steaks in there. Stovetop's a little uneven. Let's give it some rotation so they're all kind of equally coated there. And salt and pepper. Not much. We're going to get a lot of flavor out of the sauce for this too. It's going to go quick. These are thin steaks. They're going to cook quick. Now you can see I've got a lot of them still left over here. I'm going to do all of them. They can be for lunch another day. And the fact of the matter is, the more beef drippings that are left in this pan, the better our sauce is going to be. Give those just a second. All right. Doesn't need to be too brown. All right, these steaks are done. See them there? They're good. They're thin steaks. They don't need to be cooked for very long. Now comes the magic. I'm going to turn this heat down. All this beef left in the pan, this is where the magic's going to come in. I'm actually going to turn the heat entirely off. Getting some smoke there off of that. I'm going to put in some cream. Mix that in, mix that up. Cream, a little bit of Worcestershire sauce, and some mustard. I'm actually going to use a whisk. The trick with this is it needs to emulsify. It needs to mix smoothly. If your butter and your cream start to separate from each other, you're not getting a nice sauce. There you go. That's all it takes. This comes off the stove. We want it off the heat. All right, everything is all set up. We are ready to go. I brought out the fancier plates for this one, kind of a little special occasion dinner. I'm going to do 2 little pieces of steak for everyone here. We're going to eat well tonight. I'm going to load that up with sauce. Just pour it over the top of it. Run down over the edges. Get ourselves some Brussels sprouts. You can see how these cooked up nicely. Nice and brown, crispy. Oh yeah, those leaves there, nice and crispy brown. Those are going to be good. Give just a little more here on this one. Salad. With our salad. And there we have yet another tasty, simple, uncomplicated dinner. Le steak avec la sauce aux moutarde, les choux Bruxelles, and salade. This is good stuff. It's easy. It took me no more than about 45 minutes. You can do it at home, and then you can eat it at home. Bon appetit. And if you try it yourself, please tell me about it and send a picture.